Why most chronic health problems are autoimmune in nature, meaning they may show an autoimmune response even before any autoimmune disease. So just a little background on myself. I've been in practice since 1983, 35 years, thousands and thousands of hours of continuing education. We've seen patients from 18 different states in the last 2 years that have came exclusively to Paducah for our care. My wife Debbie and I have 7 children, 17 grandchildren, and our first great-grandson is due in November. I have a trademark for our assessment model called HIDDEN: hormonal balance, immune strength, detoxification efficiency, and neurological connection, because I saw a need. I saw docs doing a great job addressing hormones or immune issues or detox pathways, but not addressing the neurological connection, how our nervous system interacts with our environment, and that's a key part to making all those others work together. In fact, each of these steps works together, and that's our trademarked process. Now, life calls us to our calling, which is why we do what we do at Winters Wellness Center. And life is calling you to a better health. And so we hope that you will want to work with us or somebody like us in your area. Now, I first got into autoimmune care because I was just crazy enough to answer a phone call from another chiropractor's mom. And Dr. Tom was laying in the hospital, Lourdes Hospital here in Paducah, Kentucky, totally paralyzed with an autoimmune attack on his muscles called polymyositis is what the medical diagnosis was. They were doing a great job with him there in the hospital, but he needed some other types of care to help him fully heal and recover, and I answered the call. And so we started advising him some while he was in the hospital. As he got out of the hospital, we went to his house 3 or 4 nights a week, and then he got his wheelchair in a bus, a transportation bus, brought it to our office, and we helped him get healthier and healthier and healthier. And this was his picture a few years later. On top, to the top of the right, was his picture, hard to point like that, was his picture when he went back to practice in California 9 months later after we worked with him. He'd been told he probably would never walk again. But we learned a lot from working with Dr. Tom. He taught me a lot, I taught him a lot, but life calls you to your calling, and that's how I developed this calling of working with people with autoimmune illnesses. Then 3 years later, Megan started at our front desk, and after about a month, she started complaining about her eyes. I said, you better go get them checked. She went to the optometrist. He or she happened to know the retinal specialist and called them in, who was on their way home. They examined her, diagnosed her with an autoimmune attack on her retinas, and within 3 days, she was legally blind. And so we worked with her. As soon as she got a break from the steroids, we did immune testing with her, found out her vitamin D was low. We did testing on the immune messengers called cytokines, found out that pointed to her gut, started testing her gut, found a parasite, found gluten intolerance, and etc. Megan went on to work for us for 5 years and recovered her eyesight, and she's very active in Florida today, where she and her husband live, and enjoying life. But again, that was somebody that was right there needing help, and we had to figure out how to help them. So life calls you to your calling. So this is part of my calling. Now, anytime we have a chronic condition, it's because breakdown is going to be greater than repair in the body. So our body is breaking down faster than it's repairing. And so that's one of the most common reasons for chronic condition. And one of the most common reasons for that increased breakdown is where the immune system is no longer just dealing with threats in our environment, but it's actually seeing ourselves as the enemy and attacking us, an autoimmune response. So autoimmune responses can occur anytime the immune system gets stressed. They can occur long before autoimmune diseases and don't need to progress to an actual autoimmune disease necessarily if they're caught early enough and dealt with early enough. So our immune system and our brain must dance together. So they do this dance, and they have to be on the same page, coordinated together to deal with these threats to our environment, because every stressor externally that we have either reacts first through our immune system or through our nervous system, our brain and nervous system. It doesn't react first through the hormones. The hormones are secondary messengers. And so often these autoimmune responses occur long before we have positive antibody tests or other indicators of autoimmune disease. And I'm doing this presentation here for you just after doing a live talk. I move so much in a live talk that I don't try to record because I'm all over the place expressing what I believe in my passion with my body.
You've heard a few moments of Dr. Michael Winters' presentation on why most chronic conditions are autoimmune in nature. If you'd like to get instant access to the rest of the presentation and other very important resources, click through the link in the description and you'll find everything you need.